Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Webb of Jyotsna Srivastav, and with me is Anita Anand, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment, and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges people to stay guarded against COVID-19 and its variant Omicron. Says self-awareness and self-discipline are strengths to fight against the new variant. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister expresses confidence that 2022 will be golden page of building a new India. India to begin COVID-19 vaccination for children between 15 and 18 years from 3rd January. Delhi government decides to impose night curfew from tomorrow in the capital. France registers over 1 lakh COVID-19 cases, first time since pandemic. And Archbishop Desmond Tutu, South African anti-apartheid icon, Africa, dies at 90. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause for concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact the national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged people to stay guarded against COVID-19 and the Omicron variant. Sharing his thoughts with the people in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio this morning, Mr. Modi said scientists are studying the new Omicron variant and getting new data every day. He called upon people to step in the year 2022 with this sense of responsibility.
कोरोना का एक नया वेरिएंट दस्तक दे चुका है। पिछले 2 वर्षों का हमारा अनुभव है कि इस वैश्विक महामारी को परास्त करने के लिए एक नागरिक के तौर पर हमारा खुद का प्रयास बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। ये जो नया ओमिक्रॉन वेरिएंट आया है, उसका अध्ययन हमारे वैज्ञानिक लगातार कर रहे हैं। हर रोज नया डेटा उन्हें मिल रहा है, उनके सुझावों पर काम हो रहा है।
Mr. Modi said that it is because of everyone's efforts that India could fight the pandemic. He took pride that when one compares India's vaccination figures with the rest of the world, it feels that the country has achieved a huge feat. He said crossing the 140 crore vaccine dose mark is an achievement of each and every Indian.
वैक्सीन की 140 करोड़ डोज के पड़ाव को पार करना प्रत्येक भारतवासी की अपनी उपलब्धि है। ये प्रत्येक भारतीय का व्यवस्था पर भरोसा दिखाता है, विज्ञान पर भरोसा दिखाता है, वैज्ञानिकों पर भरोसा दिखाता है और समाज के प्रति अपने दायित्वों को निभा रहे हम भारतीयों की इच्छा शक्ति का प्रमाण भी है।
The Prime Minister remembered Group Captain Varun Singh, who was flying the helicopter that fell prey to a mishap this month in Tamil Nadu. Country's first Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, and his wife also lost their lives in the incident. The Prime Minister announced that he will hold a Pariksha Pe Charcha, and the registration for this program will begin on the 28th of this month on mygov.in. This registration will continue till the 20th of January next year.
हर साल मैं ऐसे ही विषयों पर विद्यार्थियों के साथ परीक्षा पर चर्चा करता हूँ। इस साल भी एग्जाम से पहले मैं स्टूडेंट्स के साथ चर्चा करने की प्लानिंग कर रहा हूँ। इस कार्यक्रम के लिए 2 दिन बाद 28 दिसंबर से mygov.in पर रजिस्ट्रेशन भी शुरू होने जा रहा है। ये रजिस्ट्रेशन 28 दिसंबर से 20 जनवरी तक चलेगा। इसके लिए क्लास 9 से 12 तक के स्टूडेंट्स, टीचर्स और पेरेंट्स के लिए ऑनलाइन कंपटीशन भी आयोजित होगा। मैं चाहूंगा कि आप सब इसमें जरूर हिस्सा लें। आपसे मुलाकात करने का मौका मिलेगा। हम सब मिलकर परीक्षा, करियर, सफलता और विद्यार्थी जीवन से जुड़े अनेक पहलुओं पर मंथन करेंगे।
Mr. Modi played a snippet from a video where students from Greece performed Vande Mataram. He said the beauty and emotion with which they have sung Vande Mataram is amazing and commendable. Mr. Modi mentioned Dr. Kurula Vittalacharya from Telangana. He said that the 84-year-old Vittalacharya exemplifies the fact that when it comes to fulfilling one's dreams, age does not matter at all.
विठलाचार्य जी इसकी मिसाल है कि जब बात अपने सपने पूरे करने की हो तो उम्र कोई मायने नहीं रखती। 6-7 साल पहले वो एक बार फिर अपना सपना पूरा करने में जुटे। उन्होंने खुद की किताबों से लाइब्रेरी की शुरुआत की, अपने जीवन भर की कमाई इसमें लगा दी। धीरे धीरे लोग इससे जुड़ते चले गए और योगदान करते गए। यदाद्री भुवनागिरी जिले के रमन्नापेट मंडल की इस लाइब्रेरी में करीब 2 लाख पुस्तकें हैं। विठलाचार्य जी कहते हैं कि पढ़ाई को लेकर उन्हें जिन मुश्किलों का सामना करना पड़ा वो किसी और को न करना पड़े।
Mr. Modi asked the listeners of Mann Ki Baat to mention 5 of their favorite books this year. He maintained that at a time when screen time is on the upswing, book reading should become more popular.
The Prime Minister also spoke of a center named Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute in Pune. This institute has started an online course to acquaint people of other countries with the importance of the Mahabharata. Mr. Modi mentioned Serbian scholar Dr. Momir Nikic, who has compiled a bilingual Sanskrit-Serbian dictionary. More than 70,000 Sanskrit words included in this dictionary have been translated into the Serbian language. The Prime Minister also lauded the efforts of Sagar Mule of Goa, who is involved in saving the centuries-old Kavi paintings from extinction. The Kavi form of painting covers the ancient history of India. Mr. Modi shed light on a unique campaign being run by the people of Arunachal Pradesh for a year called Arunachal Pradesh Air Gun Surrender Campaign. Speaking about Swachh Bharat, Mr. Modi said the resolve of cleanliness will be fulfilled only with discipline, awareness and dedication. He highlighted the Puneet Sagar campaign undertaken by NCC cadets. The Prime Minister said he came to know about a start-up named Saaf Water, which has been started by some youth. With the help of artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, Saaf Water gives information related to the purity and quality of water in their area to people. 422 cases of Omicron have been reported in the country so far. Out of the total Omicron cases, Maharashtra has reported 108 cases, followed by Delhi 79, Gujarat 43 cases and Telangana 41 cases. The Union Health Ministry said till now 130 people have recovered from the infection. More than 141 crore and 37 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 32 lakh 90,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said a total of 6,987 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 98.4%, the highest since March 2020. A total of 7,091 people recovered in the last 24 hours and total recoveries touched over 3 crore 42 lakh and 30,000. The Delhi government has decided to impose night curfew from tomorrow. The decision has been taken in view of increasing cases of COVID-19 in the city. The night curfew will be effective from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m.
In today's Hotspots section, we bring you a special discussion on India takes another step in COVID vaccination. Dr. Harish Pemde, pediatrician, AHMC New Delhi, and Sonu Sood, correspondent, AIR.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today addressed the nation as part of the 84th session of the monthly Mann Ki Baat address. This also happens to be the last edition for the year 2021, as the new year is just round the corner. The Mann Ki Baat address can be summed up as a session where the Prime Minister talks about achievements, successes, social evils and ways to eradicate them, find solutions to various challenges being faced by the country, unsung heroes, schemes launched by his government, and many more such topics. Today's address also comes at a time when the pandemic of coronavirus had reared its head again with a new variant called Omicron, and also a general spurt being seen in the regular COVID-19 infections, not only in India, across the globe. He was talking about an extraordinary talent like Dr. Kurela Vittalacharya ji from Telangana, and the kind of initiative he undertook, setting up a library. Also the initiative taken by the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute based in Pune with regard to the spread and awareness about Indian culture. Tandon sir, I think the entire initiative of the Man Ki Baat and all these editions we have seen is to talk about how can we as humans and how as a society and as a country people can come together and make the world a better place to live.
Certainly, as we know that in all his episodes of Man Ki Baat, the Prime Minister has never in a way addressed the nation. He has always engaged the people in some kind of a running dialogue, as if he is communicating with the people of this country. And he himself has said that he might have highlighted a lot of goodness, good work which the government has done, but he said that from my own experience, he has realized that we should also be appreciating the experience and the achievements, innovative ideas of those who have been away from the glare of the media. And no newspaper or television has made them and their achievements as the headline. And they are in millions. And they are doing great things. And they are not doing it for themselves. They are doing it to ensure future of this country. And that was one major departure from earlier episodes of Man Ki Baat. And then he said that he was in fact not very sure which one to pick up. You have right now mentioned some of them. But he said in the Amrit Mahotsav, when we are celebrating, and these people, they are the real Jan Shakti of the country. They are the strength. And the strength of each and every individual, their efforts, their hard work, in a way guarantees a bright future for India and humanity. And then he set the tone, and he said that, in fact, he brought in the corona pandemic also. But before that, he spoke to them, and those who are watching it on Doordarshan, there were visuals of those people, some of whom you mentioned, what exactly they are doing for the country, what exactly their achievements are for the society. And he went on, and he spent a lot of time in appreciating, discussing the work of these people. And then in that context, he said that it is the strength of the people, because of everybody's effort, that India could fight the biggest pandemic in 100 years. Because we stood by each other like a family in every difficult moment, and we were helping someone in our locality or city and try to do more than what one could have done. And this is the real Jan Shakti. And he said, if we compare the vaccination figures of the world today and with those of India, well, it feels that the country has handled such an unprecedented task. How big a goal has been achieved. Crossing the 140 million vaccine doses mark is an achievement of each and every Indian. So the theme of today's Man Ki Baat was that the collective effort which the people of this country are putting in, whether it is research, whether it is innovation, whether it is social work, or whether it is fighting the pandemic. So this shows that the trust of every Indian in the system, including our trust in science and in our scientists, is a testament of the willpower of we Indians who are fulfilling our responsibilities toward the society. Now, that was, I think, an exceptionally different and bright aspect of the 84th episode of Man Ki Baat. As you said, it was the last episode of the 2021, and he said that the entire country, people are looking forward to welcome the 2022 and a new year. And in fact, people will be also taking a resolution to do something better, to become better in coming years. So that was the tone. So I think when he brought in the collective effort of the coronavirus in that context, he also talked about the vaccination drive which is coming, and these things we can discuss.
Right. Talking about people's initiative, collective initiative, he also spoke about some people, not only in India, but outside the country also, who are taking interest in ensuring and creating awareness about the Indian culture. So if I can quote from the Prime Minister's address, was one such person he spoke about was a Serbian scholar, Dr. Momir Nikic. and he has compiled, the Dr. Nikic has compiled a bilingual Sanskrit and Serbian dictionary, and he has got about 70,000 Sanskrit words included in this dictionary. And the remarkable thing about this is that Dr. Nikic has learned Sanskrit language at the age of 70. The Prime Minister also spoke about a 93-year-old professor from Mongolia. His name is J. Gendered Dharam. And in the last 4 decades, he has translated about 40 ancient texts, epics and composition of India into Mongolian language. In the same context, Mr. Tandon, I think he spoke about the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute of Pune, which has now initiated an online course for people to learn about Indian culture and history. And in the same breath, he also spoke about an initiative taken by people in Arunachal Pradesh as to conserving the flora and fauna, where people have initiated a air gun surrender program. Mr. Tandon?
Certainly, Prime Minister invoked the Mahabharata, where Bhagwan Shri Krishna, he expresses to Arjuna, that is, touch the sky with pride. And then he paid glowing tributes to our Air Force, and in particularly Group Captain Varun Singh. We all know we lost him. He was the only surviving in that helicopter crash, but PM today remembered him, and we know he also mentioned that we lost the country's first CDS, General Bipin Rawat, and his wife, along with many brave hearts. But Varun Singh also fought death bravely for many days. But then he also left us. So when Varun was in the hospital, the Prime Minister said, I saw something on social media that touched my heart. He was given Shaurya Chakra in August just this year. After this honor, he had written a letter to the principal of his school. After reading this letter, the first thought that came to Prime Minister's mind was that even after reaching the pinnacle of success, he did not forget to nurture his roots. And, when he had time to celebrate, he showed concerns for the generations to come. I think paying tributes to the Indian Air Force, leadership, the Prime Minister touched God with the millions of the countrymen. And then he said, the mantra which Group Captain has given to us is to rise from average to extraordinary is equally important. And this is how Group Captain Varun Singh has written his letter. So I think we can go on and on, but it was a very, very significant, important and touching part of today's Mann Ki Baat.
The Prime Minister also spoke about the kind of human initiative that has been brought together by people in Arunachal Pradesh. Now they have surrendered about 1,600 guns. These are air gun kind of variety of guns. And this is to ensure that the hunting of birds, the indiscriminate hunting of birds can be stopped. And such initiatives can only be brought together when people come together. While a soldier is guarding the front at the borders or by way of Air Force or the Navy or other defense forces, as people's initiative, you can also render yeoman services to the country. Speaking about coronavirus, Mr. Tandon, this is again a time when we are seeing a spurt in the cases. Omicron variant is here. India has also reported new cases. The Prime Minister talked about, and I quote, that the sense of responsibility that should be exhibited by everyone as we enter the year 2022 now, the new year. And he talked about the record vaccinations. You just mentioned it. But I think the challenge of COVID has refused to leave us. And I think that is what the PM also wanted to underline.
Certainly, he cautioned people that we have to observe all the precautions and including the basic precautions of wearing mask and, washing our hands, etc. But one very significant point was, which Prime Minister never misses, is that when the students are going for exam, and he said this year also, and he is planning to discuss these issues, exam issues with the students before the exam start. And he said that the registration for this program is also going to start 2 days later, that is 28 December onward on the mygov.in. And this registration will be on from 28 December till 20th of January. For this, online competition will also be organized for students, teachers and parents of class 9 to 12. The Prime Minister said he would like all of us to take part in this. That means parents, teachers as well as students. And they will get an opportunity PM will get an opportunity to meet them. So together, we will brainstorm on many aspects related to examinations, career, success, and student life. That was another very important highlight of today's Mann Ki Baat. Thank you.
In France, a record high of 104,611 COVID-19 infections were recorded yesterday, breaking the 100,000 threshold for the first time since the pandemic began. Saturday's tally marked the third consecutive day that numbers have reached record highs. President Emmanuel Macron and key members of his government will discuss new COVID-19 safety measures tomorrow.
India looks set to overtake France next year and then Britain in 2023 to regain its place as the world's sixth biggest economy. In a report released today, the British consultancy CEBR said the world's economic output will exceed $100 trillion for the first time next year, and it will take China a little longer than previously thought to overtake the United States as the number one economy. CEBR predicted China will become the world's top economy in dollar terms in 2030, 2 years later than forecast in last year's World Economic League table report. CEBR Deputy Chairman Douglas McWilliams said the important issue for the 2020s is how the world economies cope with inflation, which has now reached 6.8% in the US. The report showed Germany was on track to overtake Japan in terms of economic output in 2033. Russia could become a top 10 economy by 2036, and Indonesia looks on track for 9th place in 2034. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, at least 6 people were killed and 13 others injured in a suicide bomb attack on a crowded restaurant in the eastern city of Beni. Officials blamed Saturday's attack on the Allied Democratic Forces ADF, a militant group said to be linked to the Islamic State IS. So far, no group has claimed responsibility for the attack. More than 30 people were celebrating Christmas in the Inbox restaurant when the bomb went off. 2 witnesses told AFP news agency police prevented the bomber from entering the building, but he blew himself up at the entrance, killing himself and 5 other people.
Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate who helped end apartheid in South Africa, has died aged 90. A contemporary of anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela, he was one of the driving forces behind the movement to end the policy of racial segregation and discrimination enforced by the white minority government against the black majority in South Africa from 1948 until 1991. The outspoken Tutu was considered the nation's conscience by both the black majority and the white minority, an enduring testament to his faith and spirit of reconciliation in a divided nation. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1984 for his role in the struggle to abolish the apartheid system. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to World News. World's largest and most powerful space telescope has been launched successfully into the orbit to make breakthrough discoveries on the origins of the universe and Earth-like planets beyond our solar system. The James Webb Space Telescope, NASA's premier space observatory of the next decade, launched in an Ariane rocket from the European Space Agency's base in French Guiana on Christmas Day. The Webb telescope will reach its destination in solar orbit, some 1.5 million kilometers from Earth, about 4 times farther away than the Moon. And the Webb's special orbital path will keep it in constant alignment with the Earth as the planet and the telescope circle the Sun in tandem. It will see farther into our origins, from the formation of stars and planets to the birth of the first galaxies in the early universe. It intends to show humans what the universe looked like even closer to its birth nearly 14 billion years ago. Webb, named after one of its architects of the Apollo moon landings, is the successor to the Hubble telescope. Jointly built by NASA, the European Space Agency and the Canadian Space Agency, the new observatory is, however, 100 times more powerful. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson called Webb a time machine that will provide a better understanding of our universe and our place in it, who we are, what we are, the search that's eternal. We are going to discover incredible things that we never imagined, Nelson said shortly after the launch.
Iran today announced the decision to close its land borders with neighboring countries for 15 days to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 variant of Omicron. Spokesperson for Iran's customs Ruhollah Latifi said land borders with Turkey, Iraq, Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, Pakistan and Armenia are closed for half a month from today. Iran's health ministry today reported 1,121 new COVID-19 cases, raising the country's total infections to 61,82,905. The pandemic also claimed 42 lives in the past 24 hours, taking the death toll to 1,31,348, according to the ministry. In the first cricket test of the three-match series, India were 272 for 3 wickets in their first innings against South Africa at stumps on day 1 at Centurion. Opener KL Rahul on 122 and Ajinkya Rahane on 40 were at the crease when stumps were drawn. India lost 2 wickets in the second session as Lungi Ngidi struck twice in consecutive balls to remove Mayank Agrawal and Cheteshwar Pujara. Ngidi then also removed skipper Virat Kohli. Mayank Agrawal added 117 runs with KL Rahul for the first wicket. Earlier, India won the toss and opted to bat.
And now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Washington Post reports at least 16 people killed in shipwreck off Greece, adding to string of deadly incidents at sea. The Guardian reports Tory MPs warned Boris Johnson's rivals to oppose tougher COVID New Year rules. The Globe and Mail writes, thousands of Russians returning to bases after drills near Ukraine border. The Wall Street Journal writes Desmond Tutu, Archbishop, who helped end apartheid, dies. Sputnik News says Bojo reportedly warned by senior Tories against listening to dangerous pro-lockdown Michael Gove. Financial Times says China tightens rules for companies listing abroad after crackdown. Tolo News says Russian troops return to bases after drills near Ukraine. Ceylon News says misery for tens of thousands of airline passengers. Himalayan Times reports Australian state sees record cases, lab sends false results.
A committee will be instituted to look into the withdrawal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA, in Nagaland. The committee will be chaired by the Additional Secretary Northeast under the Ministry of Home Affairs and will include Nagaland's Chief Secretary and Director General of Police. This was decided during a meeting on December the 23rd, chaired by Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi to discuss on the present scenario in Nagaland. And now, before we end, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges people to stay guarded against COVID-19 and its variant Omicron. Says self-awareness and self-discipline are strength to fight against the new variant. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister expresses confidence that 2022 will be golden page of building a new India. India to begin COVID-19 vaccination for children between 15 and 18 years from 3rd January. Delhi government decides to impose night curfew from tomorrow in the capital. France registers over 1 lakh COVID-19 cases first time since pandemic. And Archbishop Desmond Tutu, South Africa, anti-apartheid icon, dies at 90. India is celebrating the 152nd birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favorite bhajan, Vaishnavajan, by artists from Slovenia. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.